So the time for 5G has come. This is Somo from the channel Suman Tech, and you are watching obviously Suman Tech. And until the end of the video to know more about the 5G, what is new on 5G, what we gonna get in 5G, what are the new features of 5G. So here is the video to know about all about the 5G and what you actually want to know about 5G. So thanks for watching towards Suman Tech, and if you're new to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, like our video, if you share our videos, comment down below about your suggestions and queries from us. Thanks for watching towards Suman Tech, and thanks for your time. So first of all, what is actually 5G? G stands for generation. Here you all know that, but still, from 1G to 5G, what has been experienced by us? Actually till 4G you can say, what have been experienced by us? There's a lot more change in speed of internet, lot more change in speed of call connectivity you can say. And in case of 1G, there was only the feature of calling somebody or the feature of talking to somebody, but from the 2G services it enhances with the SMS service, and it enhances to the internet service also, but much slower speed than 3G also. And then comes 3G, the SMS goes too much viral according to the service you can say, and along with the internet, the 3G services got enhanced so much till 2015 or 16 you can say. And after that it comes with the 4G, much more enhanced features and much more enhanced speed of internet. It comes to 4G to make you do your own jobs in your home with some 4G services that is provided also by Jio, Airtel, Idea, BSNL, whatever the manufacturer, the provider, doesn't matter. Still, it enhances the speed and it makes you to do your works a lot more easier, a lot more smoother, and without any kind of buffering. That may be work, that may be your YouTube surfing, that may be your Google surfing, but the speed of the internet has been increased in so much extent that the time or the wastage of time for the bufferings has really got reduced for the speed. Now it's the time for the 5G. So what is actually 5G? Here also the G stands for generation, and in 5G I'm gonna consult about the 5 technologies that has been enabled in 5G, that has been added or that has been included in 5G to enhance up the services from the providers, to enhance up the speed, to enhance up the connectivity of your calls to your friends or family persons or relatives with just a glance. So handle in the video to know all about the 5 tips. Number 1, that is the millimeter wave. Actually most of the devices everyday, most of the everyday devices around us, like smartphone or some AI devices you can say, like Google Home or Amazon Alexa, whatever you can say, this kind of devices use pretty much internet speed nowadays. So these devices, the number of these devices are increasing day by day, are getting much more congested in the traffic signaling of cellular signal you can say, or cellular networks. So the cellular networks provided around us, like in the nearby networks of us, are getting much more congested, much more trafficked. So they are facing so much problems to connect those calls, or to transmit our data, or to receive some data and transmit those data to us. There is becoming a problem. So for that, this millimeter wave theory comes up, and all these devices actually use a limited kind of spectrum, you can say limited kind of frequency spectrum in the band of spectrum up to 6 GHz. But as the traffics are getting much more congested, so for that researchers show that if those spectrum has been increased, if those spectrum would have been increased up to 300 GHz from 30 GHz, the level must be from 30 GHz to 300 GHz, then much more devices, 22 times, up to 22 times of more devices can be included within that range, within that use and range, within that range of trafficking, you can say within the range of signaling. So it will be much more easier for us to use those data to connect our calls, to connect your calls to me, connect my calls to you. That will get much more easier. This is the way, or this is the using of millimeter waves. But there is a problem when using millimeter waves to connect your calls, to transmit or receive some data, transmit or receive some stream of data, whatever that is. But there is a problem, because millimeter wave just breaks when it can penetrate the wall of your home, or when it is stumbled to some trees or to some natural obstructions, to some natural calamities like rain, clouds, whatever, but it gets obstructed. So millimeter waves just crushes down when it gets to some natural calamities or some walls or some buildings. So how to get rid of this problem? Now it comes to the second theory or the second technology, that is the small cell networks. What is small cell networks? From the very few ago, the networks, I mean the high powered frequency networks, broadcast the frequencies pretty much easily in a large range, you can say in a huge range, but it gets distracted, it gets obstructed when a tree comes into its way or when some building comes into its way. I mean, if the network is here and here is a building and you are here, then the network, the wavelength will just get obstructed with the building, and if you are here, then you will not get any tower, you will not get any network or any signal, and your call will get disconnected or will continue disconnections. So this is the problems of some high powered frequency networks. So for those problems, here comes the small cell networks. Small cell networks is actually a theory, actually some stations which will be used in a huge numbers, which will be used in much more numbers than the high powered networks, and it will actually help the urban area people so much, because whenever you are walking through some pedestrians, through some roads, you can say, then your calls or your phone will get connected, will continue connecting to some small cell networks nearby to you. I mean nearby you. I mean it will automatically change the network whenever you are going to some place to some nearby small cell networks, and it will help, it will work pretty much efficiently whenever you are on some urban areas if those small cell networks have been used there. And it will obviously, whenever you are doing some work while walking, or whenever you are connected to some calls to your girlfriends, to your friends, to your family persons or relatives, it will just gonna help you so much in such a way that whenever you are walking, whenever you are going through some car, going on cycle or bicycle or bikes, then you can do your jobs pretty much smoothly without buffering through this small cell network system or small cell network technology. Now it comes to the number 3, that is the massive MIMO. Actually this MIMO or MIMO or MIMO stands for multiple input, multiple output. Till today, I mean till recent, the networks around us which we have seen from our childhood, those networks can only be provided with dozens of ports, dozens of transmitter or receiver ports. But now in this technology, in MIMO or MIMO technology, those networks or those receivers or transmitters can hold up to hundreds of ports, which can send the broadcast to any directions around those ports. So this is a point of helping to get connected to more people, to get connected to more internet providers, I mean to get more connected to internet, you can say also. But it will make some problems, because whenever 2 or 3 networks are nearby and they are transmitting signals, I mean they're broadcasting signals, then all the broadcaster signal will just get, you can say, interfered to each other, then it will get crushed and the network will get damaged. So for that, here it comes for the 4th technology, that is the beamforming. Beamforming is basically a traffic signaling system in cellular networks, so cellular signals, so cellular traffics, you can say also. Because whenever you are trying to connect your calls to somebody, or there will be thousands of people in your region also connecting to their friends or public or friends or family persons, whoever, then at that time several incomings, several outgoings will come to a network, and the network will just blend up the transmitters and senders or receivers. Then it will make some congestions. I mean it is must to make some congestions. But in beamforming, but in this format, it allows those all base stations to send a stream of data to a specific user, to specific users, and in this way it just avoids interference with another stream of data, and at once it can handle much more stream of data and in a more precise and more efficient way. It works in such a way that whenever you are in an apartment building and there are a cluster of buildings around you and you are trying to connect your call to somebody of your friends or family persons, then these, I mean the signal you transmit to the network just get embarrassed or just get stumbled to the building walls, to another calls, to another waves, and it just get interfered by some other waves and it just got disconnected. So for this, when MIMO technology comes here or MIMO technology comes here, it helps to get more outgoing and more incoming calls at a time, and whenever the outgoings, whenever the transmitted signal from your smartphone, from all other smartphones, it reaches to the signal, to the beam streamer, I mean you can say to the beamformer, to the MIMO transmitter at the center of that apartment building or nearby base station, you can say the nearby base station, then that signal actually gets all the calls and transmit all the calls to the network, and at the end of the calls, at the end of the waiting time, it comes to such an option, it comes to such a way, it comes to such a position that the beamformer or the base station creates a specific beam for a specific user, and it predicts which one is the sender of which one call, then it sends that beam to that specific user. That's how it works, and that's how it works in more precise way. That's how it works in more prolific way, you can say. Next it comes for the full duplex. This is another most creative technology for this 5G era, you can say. It's pretty much enhanced feature for the 5G, for whatever you're gonna work in 5G, for whatever you're gonna wanting to get to enabled or to be featured in 5G. Few years back, when people used to use the walkie-talkie or some pick and drop phones, at that time it was a bit more tougher to do two jobs at once, but it was easier to do one job at once, either transmit or receive for one phone. So this got pretty much easier in recent time technology with the silicon transmitters. The scientists researched about that. The silicon transmitter, if it is pointed in several transmitted junctions of the waves or the wave stations, then the silicon transmitter makes a duplex wave, makes a double path for the signals to go, and at those junctions, if two signals come at a time, that is, one is transmitted and one is received, then they can just go through some other way, through two other ways, so that they doesn't got stumbled and the network doesn't got embarrassed, or the network doesn't get disgusted to be connected. So it is much more easier to get connected or to do two jobs at once, to do two jobs at once simultaneously. So it got much more easier with the silicon technology, the silicon transmitter technology. So scientists are working much more about these 5 features, that is number 1, millimeter wave, number 2, that is small cell technology, small cell networks, number 3, that is massive MIMO or MIMO, number 4, that is about the beam forming, and number 5, that comes for the full duplex. So scientists are working pretty harder about these technologies, and they are researching more about which feature is raised to be added in these 5 or as another one. So this was the features of the upcoming 5G, and hope you have enjoyed my video today, and sorry for no videos for some days because of some family problems and my health issues. So hope you have known something from the video about the 5G, about the upcoming features of 5G, and thanks for heading towards Suman Tech once again. And this is Suman from the channel Suman Tech, and if you're new to our channel, let me subscribe to our channel, like our video if you're to share our videos, comment down below about your suggestions and queries from us. Thanks for heading towards Suman Tech, and thanks for